In the third chapter of the History of Cinema course we will tell the story of Georges Méliès. He took off to release films marked by an overflowing fantasy. Méliès was deterministic by including all the technological reality present at the time in his films. Faced with the world shrinking with new technologies, his work presented us with trains, electric planes, and cars. Georges Méliès was a polymath. He studied different areas of knowledge. Was in life, magician, painter, caricaturist, actor, scenographer. This restless character still mixed all these artistic yearnings in consonance with industrial activities. His father owned a shoe factory in Paris. He was the son of Jean-Louis Stanislas Méliès, who invested in her son's artistic training during his upbringing. Hiring a private teacher of paintings in your childhood. Still under the influence of his father, Georges Méliès lived for a time in London and attended the Egypt Hall, a well-known house of mystery in ancient London. There was the center of illusionism of the family of Maskelyne magicians. There he became friends with its titular magicians, Neville Maskelyne and David Devant. In the hall and with him he learned scenic sketches with touches of popular drama and burlesque humor. And he took painting classes taught by the symbolist painter Gustave Moreau. After a year of experience in England, Méliès returned to France overwhelmed by stage magic. Determined to become a prestidigitator, he hired an illusionist and owner of a magic apparatus store in France for private lessons, Émile Voisin, whose show was at the fantastic cabinet of the Grevin Museum. Méliès soon began performing there and also at the Galerie Vivienne. The young magician gained fame under the nickname of El Grand Méliès. The illusionist trade grew in importance for Méliès. The turning point in his life came when his father retired in 1888 and divided the factory between his sons. It was the opportunity to dedicate himself exclusively to magic. He sold his share of the business to the other two brothers. To the money earned from the sale, he added the marriage dowry with his first wife Eugenie Genin, Dutch, whose father was a wealthy industrialist and a close friend of her uncle. He bought a venerable Parisian theatre, belonging to Robert Houdon's widow, Léonie Munir. The purchase price was 40,000 francs for the property located on the Boulevard des Italiens. Remembering that, Houdin, the biggest name in French magic, who lived between the 1800s and 1870s. And Méliès bought the house in 1888. That same year he moved close to the theatre, including a newborn daughter. Remembering that he already attended this theatre. After renovations, it opens its doors in the autumn of 1888 with a production called L'Astrobeka Persane. Still between 1889 and 1890, he was at the same time a reporter and cartoonist for the satirical newspaper La Griffe, where his cousin Adolphe was editor-in-chief. During the following years, illusionist shows were staged in the theatre, whose sets, tricks and machinery were his authorial creations. At the age of 26, Méliès was responsible for managing his own concert hall, at a central address in Paris. He created varied illusions for his performances there, adding to them good doses of drama and burlesque comedy, like what he had seen in London. By 1895, Méliès had become an showbiz man. At the invitation of Méliès, great names in illusionism at the time performed on the Robert Houdin stage, which also gave rise to pantomimes, solo dances, furies, fantasy theater, as well as projections of magic lanterns. Due to his position in this scenario, he was invited to participate in the cinematographer premiere. As recounted in the previous chapter, he was present at the first cinema session in history, December 28, 1895, and that exhibition messed with his head, as he envisioned an opportunity to innovate his showbiz work that he did in Belle Époque Paris. Melies had to go to England to get the technology from another inventor, as the Lumiere brothers refused to hand over that technological marvel, on the argument that it should have scientific purposes.